I want to talk about trauma-informed care. When you're dealing with a very vulnerable population, the autism population, you need to understand that if you have a child on the spectrum, they're with the behaviors, it's most common trauma. And it's not the trauma that people think in the regular real world, like, oh, getting beat up by somebody, like all those traumatic events that do occur that cause trauma. This is a different trauma. So I was saying, a lot of our learners, they have hypersensitivity, okay? Now imagine, you ever see that video of the kid? I posted it on my page. Go look. I was explaining extraneous variables and the environmental variables. Like, these are things that people are not considering the day-to-day life that they have to deal with. Like, the pitch, there's a certain pitch that hurts our learners if they're very hypersensitive in their ears. If they need the headphones, listen, the pitch of kids laughing, that little screech, especially in the first grade kindergarten setting, it hurts. And you can see it build up, and it's like, oh my God, because they can't control it because they're laughing. But all of them laughing, 26 kids together laughing, is a very screech, like the nails on a chalkboard to them. Like, oh my God. And then that's why they're humming. So I would explain to other kids, like, oh, they'd be like, why does she hum? I'm like, okay, well, let's hum right now. We're going to cover our ears and I'm going to have you hum. And when they're humming, I'm like, can you hear me? Can you hear me? And they're, huh? And I'm like, you see how you can't hear me when I'm talking? And it felt good that you couldn't hear me, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's what happens. Sometimes it's just a little too loud and it hurts her ears because she can really hear a lot better than us. So it hurts her ear. So that's why she hums, because she's just waiting for it to calm down and for her to know when it's safe that she could stop. So, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah. Especially in the cafeteria, I'm explaining to them because they need to understand, and I'm shaping their behavior and their tolerance and awareness of someone with special needs, that kids are not, as an adult, when you see somebody with special needs, especially if they're like in a wheelchair that we're not exposed to often, it can be very overwhelming when you walk right by them. It's the same thing when you see like go to a convalescent home and there's so many wheelchairs around you. It's like, oh my God, they're sensitive. And like, there's a lot of things that go through people's head, especially if you're not exposed to it. I forgot the point I was making, but I got my snakes. Okay, I remember. I was talking about the trauma. So listen. They may be going through the actual drama that was the real life drama, but also you need to consider the daily trauma that they deal with their senses.